Hello. Small update on yesterday was the DIY event. I had a lot of fun. Really. My demo, or yeah, I hate the word demo to be fair, but went not completely as planned. This time I wasn't nervous at all, which I normally am, and I know it's completely stupid, but you know, I cannot help it at least. People say, "Oh, you don't have to be nervous." No, I know it's ridiculous, but this is what I feel, and I cannot control it at all. But this time, far less. So that's nice. It means doing it more often works, and maybe even making something that really does not look nice as well helps in this case. I don't know why. Anyhow, I started building up my equipment, and I used the Node audio streamer. So I needed to connect my laptop to the local Wi-Fi, then connect the laptop by cable to the Node, the streamer, configure that one to use the same Wi-Fi network so it has internet to stream the music from. Then I should be able, as I do at home, control the streamer by Spotify app from the laptop. And there's no way I couldn't get it to work. I used later my phone as a local Wi-Fi hotspot thingy. Did not work either. It didn't work. Since my laptop did have internet, so that works, I used my analog method, something I wanted to avoid. So I used my Focusrite DAC. But the problem with that is that it goes digital to the DAC, then it makes it analog, then it goes to the DSP, which makes it digital again, and then after all the DSP stuff, it poops it out analog to the amplifier, which is ridiculous, of course. So with the streamer, I could go digital directly to the DSP, and from there, afterwards, analog to the amplifier. Much shorter, and one digital analog conversion and analog digital conversion less. So, and then someone was looking at the loudspeakers, and they said, "Hey, one of your connection points is loose of the ribbon." I was like, "No," and there were actually two. These wires were flopping in the breeze, and my only cable tie-down thingy was this piece of tape. And the morning when I was packing my stuff, I thought, I really need to take care in not by accident stand on this wire, or have it like pinched somewhere, and then I'll grab this, then I will definitely rip off the connection to the ribbon or planar magnetic or coil to the voice coil. So but it did happen, so I might have snagged the wire somewhere and did not even notice. So both connection points were fucked, and we were like, everyone was like, "Oh, I have a soldering iron." So that's nice, but this is aluminium, so you cannot solder it with a regular solder, and nobody has the correct flux with them, of course, because no one has aluminium flux, or almost no one. And it's funny because this morning I thought, shall I take my flux and solder with me and my soldering iron just in case? I decided not to, because it's gonna be fine. Well, it didn't. So maybe next time I'll take my super small T100 soldering iron and the flux and solder with me. And I don't know, some sort of cheap ass power supply, just in case. Anyhow, we were thinking of what we could do, like put the wires on with tape and put some pressure on it. Didn't work. Then someone said, maybe we can use like two of these pins that you usually use for like putting something on a hang up photos and such in those foam boards on the wall. I said, maybe wrap the wire around it and then push this pin through the connection point. I thought it might work just for 1 second, but it's not going to be a good connection, and then it will have distortion, etc. But it worked. So that's really cool. I really did not expect that. So in the end, I could play some music, not with my streamer, so not ideal, but at least some music. And it was like an hour later instead of, yeah, so I wasted an hour. Then I played some music, not looking at the time. So I took like half an hour from somebody else's time or something, or 35 minutes. So I'm sorry for that. He said like, hey, can you wrap up? So because it's my turn like half an hour ago. I said, of course. I mean, yeah. if you said that half an hour earlier, I would wrap up as well, of course. I mean, that stuff is broken. That's my problem, not yours. So, but yeah, people do not. Well, often people will not say, "Oh, it sounds really shit." So that's cool. So I don't know. I did notice a few people really loved it, and yeah, really loved it. Some people just, walked out like after one song or something. That usually is an indication of, well, I don't like it, not good enough, or I just do not like this sound. I was telling people like, I think there is way too much, or there's too much high end, and then people said, yeah, I thought it was a little bit too much highs as well. I was like, yeah, you could have said it. I could change it like easily. I had the same feeling in somebody else as well, so we could address that on the fly. But at the same time, they love this very top end smooth thingy, so it was not bothering them, so they did not say anything about it. I wish they did, but I know how that goes. If I'm sitting somewhere and there's a tiny detail or there's something that I do not like about the set, it's not like I'm running up to the person and say, hey, I do not like it, you should do this or that. I mean, that could also be really annoying. In this case, since it was such a test thingy, I wish people did, but I can understand why a lot of people do not do that. Yeah, so this is how we fixed it, and it worked perfectly fine. 2 of these pins. Okay, then another thing, the rubber magnet. I asked what it would cost 500 meters for a group buy, and there were several people interested, but it's not enough people to make it useful. The problem is there's not enough magnet bought, and that means that I have to buy the other half, or 300 meters or something, I don't know. But really, at a price of, that's the price it's going to be, €6.50, excluding shipping to the persons. That's going to be a very steep price. So yeah, I'm not willing to pay €1,800 on a rubber magnet and see if I ever do something with it. If you know what I mean. It's too big of an investment for me, and I think a lot of people hoped it would be cheaper as well, so they will, instead of telling me how many meters they wanted, they probably will say, oh, I only want for so much euro magnet, and it will be less than the meters they had in mind before. So I'm gonna email them that unfortunately the price is still too high, so no group buy. Sorry guys. Problem is, the only problem I see is that next time if I ask, they probably will not make it cheaper either. And I'm not so good in bargaining, so maybe I should have said, no, it's way too expensive, you have to come down some more, like €5 or €4. I'm not that kind of guy. I cannot do it. I've tried it a few times with them, and they really do not budge. So after a while, I don't want to try anymore. So no more rubber magnets, unfortunately. And this whole design, I don't know. Some people really liked it. Like, hey, could you maybe 2 people at least? Like, hey, do you ever make something for someone else? Because I might be interesting. Or I would love to buy one if some specs could be changed, which is unfortunately I'm not able to, I think. This one needs quite a little bit EQ to make it flat. people do not want to use a DSP, or not as much or not at all, then this driver I do not think work out. Oh, but at least it does mean I will look into it a little bit further down the road, because some people really liked it. For once, maybe I do not need this curve. Maybe it can even be less curvy, which is weird. It's not much curve, I think, but the dispersion vertically was quite insane. So I wonder if I can get away with even less curve. The less curve you have, the easier it is to construct, and maybe the efficiency is also a little bit higher. That was also one of the specs people would like to see better, if interested. The EQ, I don't know if that's possible to correct, because I'm not even sure yet where half of the problems come from. Well, this edge is a problem. This depth is a problem, but also makes it play low. But if I fold it out, it's more controllable of what it's doing, because then it acts like a normal baffle. Then you can at least model it. This I cannot model in edge. So yeah, short update, very boring maybe, but I thought this was worth sharing. It's so cool it worked. That person saved my bacon. Well, if it didn't work, it's fine as well, but it's of course a bit shitty to put work in it and go there with all kinds of crap and not use it. See you.